Mr. Garvey, as you have access to school board members through email, but I do want to remind everyone that we need to keep on topic, which is the resolution.
I have a very short statement that I'd like to read, but I must first address what he's talking about with the cooperative agreement between PARCC and the United States Department of Education, which has to do with the resolution because it's data sharing. It says right here, and he's been given this opportunity to read this several times. I don't understand why he can't just pull it up on the internet like everyone else, or any other Bessie member. It says very clearly in that agreement, paragraph 5. There's another paragraph before that. But paragraph 5 says to work with the Department of Education to develop a strategy to make student-level data that results from the assessment system available on an ongoing basis for research, including perspective, linking, validity, and program improvement studies, subject to applicable privacy laws. Well, we know that FERPA's been gutted. I mean, that's a fact. The governor's concerned with that, and we know that it's been gutted. We no longer, it doesn't have to be with parental consent. It can go to a third party to share it. But another paragraph in there that also speaks to data sharing is that PARCC must produce student achievement data and student growth data that can be used to determine whether individual students are college and career ready or on track to being college and career ready. Individual, that's individual information. That is not statistical information as what used to be, I think, transferred to them. But so I really like, it's very easy to find. Anybody can find the PARCC agreement between the United States Department of Education. And what binds Louisiana to that is the Memorandum of Understanding between PARCC and Louisiana, the consortium. But I'd like to read my statement. I'm in favor of the resolution, and I am proud of the lead taken by my school board. I could stand here like I did before and read to you my problems with the content that is still very steady, inappropriate, and undeniably radical left-wing socialist, if not downright communist, either through the reading itself, the theme, most importantly, the informational texts, the whole combination, and or more importantly, the authors being used. But I recognize, after going through this for the past 45 or so days, I recognize that when this concern is raised, it gives proponents the opportunity to deflect blame, and it diverts attention from all of the problems, including content, that are inherent to the Common Core State Standards Initiative. It is the initiative, the collectivist, concerted effort by 46 states with federal money and ties permeating every aspect of it, that poses the greatest danger to our children, my children, and the future of America. Collectivism, control, confidentiality, and cost are from where all the problems arise with this. Notice, unlike these promoters, researched opponents like myself speak to the whole initiative, not just as to the standards themselves. The standards themselves do have serious problems, identified by many experts, but it is through the practical effect seen and now felt in the classrooms nationwide already that speaks volumes. You can find experts on either side of the Common Core standards, and arguing over who is right goes nowhere really until the effects start to manifest themselves. But as parents, we're not willing to wait. We will not have our children used as guinea pigs, and that is what Common Core standards are. An unproven experiment with no field application or piloting, and that is unacceptable from those entrusted with this task. The federal or collectivist scheme by the states, by the powers that be, disguised as the standards, are the beating heart around which the initiative is centered. Which initiative, I don't care who says what, will result into a one-size-fits-all for everything and a rote-thinking generation without free spirit who, like timid sheep, will stay within the governmental rubric. And at the end of this, when it's too far undeniable, there will be no real positive educational benefits, I promise you. and it will suffer from the same ills of its collectivist predecessors. Because what makes America special, common, and collectivism takes away. We are not falling behind because of a lack of national standards. For generations, we used to lead without national standards. Because of so much freedom that we had, but we have gone far away from there. And that is the root of all ills in America, but especially when it comes to the minds of our children. The American spirit that lives in us does not fit into educational rubrics or national collectivist standards or assessments, and that is why we keep failing with all of these federal collectivist programs. We inherited a nation of unique and independent spirits whose children are blessed by God, not the government, with the same spirit. They are blessed with that same spirit just by living here. We are not like other nations, and we used to be able to say proudly that we never will be, but sadly that is not the case today. In supporting this initiative, our governor, John White, Bessie, Mr. Garvey, and those behind them are helping Louisiana move farther away from all that makes us unique and independent. With every federal or collectivist educational scheme, including this one, our leaders are trying to force something that goes against who we are as a state and as a nation. And that is the real reason for all of the failures with these federal collectivist programs. Yet, the money is so enticing that the vicious cycle keeps growing. I promise you that you cannot make something good for America from a concept of collectivism that is inherently bad. And this most certainly applies to education, which is why our founding fathers, not framers, our founding fathers made this the right of individual states. Our governor and those before him should never have compromised that right. But the governor is the leader who can turn that around and bring education back to Louisiana without federal money in every respect possible, to restore local control and give parents the rights that is embodied in the Louisiana Constitution, the Children's Preamble. This all started with us parents finding each other and pushing back. And now, with the resolution by you all, the St. Tammany Parish School Board, we finally have a governing body brave enough to go against the machine behind the Common Core State Standards Initiative. And to lead us in the effort of convincing those above you to reject this most rotten apple before it spoils the whole batch of education in Louisiana for Louisiana. I want to thank each of you from the bottom of my heart, and I'm sure for the parents behind me, for coming together and standing up with us and Representative Cameron Henry when no one else has. No one. Thank you for doing the right thing for our children. And as to that machine that's behind this, I want to beg parents, teachers, and citizens to boycott every single business that comes out in favor of Common Core. And to remember, you better remember come voting time, which elected officials were the cowards and or who were in favor of Common Core and never stood up. And you vote them all out. We need representation that is selfless bravery to stand up for people and not special interest group or federal money. I really thank the school board, and believe me, I know how difficult it is to be brave in light of the fundamentally transforming America that exists today. But evil thrives when good men do nothing. Thank you for doing something.